for organizations and knowledge workers, including researchers such as you all that are in journalism schools. Some of our journalism school customers include Emerson College, University of Cincinnati, Boston University, Syracuse. It's a good number of customers that we have in political science departments and journalism schools. So how is SnapStream used in these academic settings? So a lot of times our product is used in conjunction with a classroom instruction. So teachers will instruct their students to go out and find examples of certain things that they talk about in the last week of television or the last 2 weeks of television, and this might have previously required a lot of coordination with the library and some tapes that they have there, but with SnapStream that becomes a really easy assignment to give students because they can simply go over the network and access SnapStream from anywhere on the campus local area network. Then, we of course see SnapStream being used as a tool for content analysis and for conducting research. So some of the examples there, the Cheer Lab, which I think I'll talk a little bit more about later, at University of Cincinnati, Emerson College. We just came out of a very interesting election cycle. But SnapStream has been used in several election cycles as a tool for tracking what's being said on television, and how people are running political advertisements and all of the things that come along with that. So anyway, there are quite a few use cases for the technology. I just talked a little bit about content analysis. Like we said, it's often used as a student resource, so you can assign research to students, and then from any computer lab, they're able to go and conduct that research. This is something that's worth pointing out, that we often see SnapStream being used in a multi-department configuration. So, because it's a network resource, you might have individuals in political science and the journalism school, and maybe even the development office or the business school using the same SnapStream system. So the funding can be, the product can be paid for simultaneously by multiple different departments, and then can be a shared resource that everybody accesses over the LAN. So let's talk about the basics of how it is SnapStream works. What is SnapStream? So SnapStream is an appliance that lives on premises at your school. So it's a physical box, and this is how 99% of schools use our product. There is a cloud version of SnapStream, but we'll kind of put that aside for the time being. So it's an appliance that lives at your location, and it's a lot like the DVR that you might have in your home. You plug your TV source into it. This is typically a campus TV system, the cable from a campus TV system, or it might be a set-top box or a series of set-top boxes. Those get connected to SnapStream, and then SnapStream is plugged into your network, and then people will use it sitting at their desks, whether they're in a lab or whether they're in their office. So the users access all these recordings and watch them, create clips, do searches sitting at their desks in their offices on their Mac, PC, Chromebook, pretty much any kind of a LAN device that has a web browser on it. And what SnapStream enables, once you've told it what to record, is a number of different things. Probably the most significant is our ability to search inside TV shows. You can go in and search on, like this example's a little bit weird. It's been copied and pasted, but it says EPA up here. You'll see down here it says Oroville Dam. But the idea is you could search on Oroville Dam, And you could find all the places where that had been said on TV. And you can see those mentions up to the second. So we're searching by the closed captioning, and the search capability is very deep. So our motto on the engineering team is no search left behind. And so this is a very simple search, but then you can do more complicated searches. So for example, you could say, I only want to see mentions of Trump on a comedy program. And Brian will go into this in a little more depth when he does a demonstration of the product. So you'll get to see this live. And maybe, I think we've heard from some of you on what you want to see in a demonstration, and we'll go through that. We'll go through some examples with you. You can also download full transcripts of programs. You can view them next to a show, but you can also download the full thing. We have a lot of schools that use that to drive their content analysis efforts. One of the things I remember at the first AEJMC conference that we attended that I heard a student say, or a grad student say, they came up to me at actually I think they were a junior professor somewhere, but they kind of got the pitch and understood what the product was all about, and they just paused for a second and said, that if they had had SnapStream when they were doing their research, it would have eliminated about a year's worth of work. So I guess there are places where the TV shows are still manually transcribed by grad students, and we eliminate all of that because you get the transcript essentially automatically, quote unquote, for free. You can build a large archive of television. So for example, one of our customers is a journalism school that studies political ads, and they've built a database from previous elections of political ads, and then they're able to search those. And you can search over not just closed captioning, but manual tags that you add into the program that are time-coded to particular points inside the program. And Brian will show that to you, because I think that for you all as researchers, that's probably an important functionality, is being able to add those in time-coded tags into the video. Of course, you can record television shows. It all starts with recording TV shows. We make the recording of the shows really easy. It's really easy then to create and share TV clips. To broadly think about what we do with SnapStream is, television historically has been this ephemeral media. It gets broadcast, people watch it, and then it disappears into the ether. And on the other hand, you have print media and new media, Facebook posts, tweets that never go away. They're permanent. So we bring that permanence to television. We make it so that just like you can share an article on the New York Times website with somebody, and I'm sure we all do that on a daily basis, we make it so within an organization you can share a TV clip with as much ease and post it to Twitter and post it to Facebook. We're in fact how a lot of the tweets that go out, say about the Oscars this past Sunday, we're how a lot of those videos and the GIFs get created and get posted to Twitter and to Facebook. So we have some pretty cool Twitter and Facebook integration with our product. So, but we make it really easy to create clips and then share those clips. You can watch live TV in the product, so we kind of become this shared DVR across your campus. And then I mentioned the TV to Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube functionality. So I want to just talk through a couple of case studies. Before I do that though, let's take a look at one of our poll questions here. I'll share those out with you. And also, if you have any questions, this would be a good time to ask them. I can take a break and answer any questions. So type your questions in, and I'll, if it's something that may be of general interest, I'll share that out with the audience. So I'm curious, what features or what capabilities of SnapStream would be of greatest interest to you and your organization. So you can I think you can check all that apply here. So I'm going to let everyone vote on what their interest is, and then I'll share the results back out with the crowd. It's a good way for everyone to understand, you know, who else is on the call. So give it a second here. Let everyone reply. Okay, yeah, let me share the results back out here. So everybody wants to do content analysis. Some people want to do media research, and then the coding of transcripts, which really is a part of content analysis, I guess, is another one of the items that people chose. So that's good. We'll go back to the presentation here. Okay, so again, talking about the case studies, before Emerson College will be the first one I talk about in their journalism department. Before SnapStream, they were using VHS tape recorders. They were, and by the way, if you want to download them, if you click in the panel, you'll see there's their handouts. You can download a more sort of full description of the SnapStream. This case study at Emerson College. You can read, in more extensive detail about what we did over there. But so, check that out if you want to dive in deeper. But just to give you kind of an overview, before SnapStream, they were using VHS. They were recording a limited number of programs, and the product was kind of, the way that they were doing this was kind of clunky and burdensome. They had to make requests in advance of the people who managed these VHS tape recorders, and then the tape would have to be physically transported to the person who made the request. The whole thing was kind of cumbersome, and after they added SnapStream, they were able to make recordings on the fly. So teacher could simply go in and schedule a recording. They could create clips on the fly as well. They didn't have to do any digitization of the VHS tapes. Everything was automatically in MP4 format, so it's something that could drag and drop into any learning management system like Blackboard, or just into a folder on a shared drive. Generally, we've always gotten the feedback, whether it's K through 12 education, where we also sell a lot, or at university level, the product is really easy to use. It's kind of one of our hallmarks, and that plays out really well in education because professors and teachers don't really have time to mess around with the technology. They just want something that works, and made it really easy to do side-by-side comparisons. SnapStream did, because they could pull up two windows, watch CNN and Fox next to each other. So a lot of impactful ways in which they were able to switch from VHS to using SnapStream's sort of network-based DVR appliance. University of Cincinnati was another good example. We've got some, great photos here of their drawers and drawers full of VHS cassette tapes. They really just couldn't do the research they were trying to do with VHS tapes. It was too time-consuming and kind of labor-intensive. And with SnapStream, they were able to capture the content for analysis. They were able to just pull out the transcripts. They were able to do student research projects where it would have been too labor-intensive before. The students could now do certain types of research that they couldn't do previously. So, this is a good point to hand it over to Brian and let him take us through the product. So, and then Sarah will close things out. Let me see real quick if there are any questions here. Don't have any questions at this point. So, so Brian, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So we're going to take a look at the user interface here, and first place that I want to start is just the program guide. So essentially what's taking place is your TV source, whether that's your campus feed or cable satellite set-top boxes, whatever that is, it's going into the back of the SnapStream appliance, and then you have access, as you can see by the red icons, which is probably the primary way in which academic settings use us, is to archive content. So you're able to set up recording tasks either for specific shows throughout the day, or you can record particular channels 24/7. So if you're focused specifically on cable news content, you can record Fox, CNN, MSNBC round the clock. You do also have the ability to jump in and watch something live as well. And then from that archived content, all of your recordings are going to live over in the library. So you're building up a digital library from scratch, hundreds and thousands of hours of content just based off your storage space. And we actually asked for some topics of interest prior to the webinar in the past couple days, and so I have 3 different examples that I'm going to go through of more broad ways to do a search, and then more granular aspects to really zero in on exactly what it is that you're looking for. So in my library here, very similar to doing a Google search, I'm going to come in here and do a search for the term Hindu. And as you can see, I get 38 results from what I've archived. And when I jump in here to a particular recording, it takes me straight into the point of what it is that I'm looking for. If I go ahead and pause this right here, you'll see that on the right-hand side, it is highlighting all of the closed captioning associated with the video content you see on the left-hand side. I've got about a 5 or 7 second introduction, and here's my word Hindu that I was doing a search for. So I can then use my scrubbing tools to be able to to create start points and end points using either the text-based or the video-based setup. So I've now created a clip. I have my 24-second clip. I'm going to call this University Demo. Let's say Hindu, rituals, whatever the tagging is that you might want to associate with this clip. So if I go ahead and clip this and save it to a particular folder, then it's going to allow me to search on any of the recorded content and also search on any customized tagging that I do with the clips that I'm creating. I can also create tags at certain time frames, which is exactly what Rakesh was talking about. So if I wanted to say, you know, religion or something like that right here, and then it would mark those specific junctures within the program. If we come back to the library, this time we're going to do a search, but we're going to get a little bit more specific with how we find it. And by the way, there are cheat sheets on this type of information, but it becomes second nature after a while. So I'm going to do a category search for news and current events, and then I'm going to look for LGBTQ. And so this gives me 34 results, and when I click in here, once again, it's going to take me straight into the point of the mention. A lot of the results right now, as you could imagine, have to do with the Moonlight film and some of the fiasco that took place last weekend with regards to the Oscars awards. And it drops me in here, and I've got this mention where it says, Moonlight is the first movie about the LGBTQ experience in America to win Best Picture, etc. And then my last example is going to be where I can use a date range. So let's say I want to find everything that happened last week. And I'm going to do a search for fracking and oil. And this returns me 5 results. As you can see, it found both terms in this same area here. And so I come in here, and now I'm able to go ahead and create my clip and repurpose it however I need to, whether that's downloading it, sharing it out with my students, whatever the case might be. So this involves, various manual searches. We just did 3 different searches on completely different topics. Each of you probably has specific things that you're focused on for your area of instruction or research. And that's where the alerts can become very handy. So I can set up my daily research alert. And let's say that, I want to be notified about every time Native Americans are mentioned, and, tribes or whatever the case might be. So I set up my email address, and I can create whatever frequency I want to, so anywhere between weekly and near real time. And every time they talk about the Native American population and various other terminology that might be associated with it, it's going to send me an email with results that look very similar to what we looked at in the library, but it's going to be those specific segments that are extracted based off of the terms that I've set up. So this is a great way to automate that process if there are particular topics that you're always going to want to touch on. I do also want to point out back in the library, this can also act as a digital, as a sort of a centralized repository. So you're able to upload video content as well. So if you're wanting to pull in other archived assets or video files from the outside, you can drop those into a particular destination folder, and this could be a platform where content could be shared with other colleagues as well. And lastly, kind of along the lines of the alerts that we set up, creating an automated fashion to do things, you can set up workflows as well. So just like it sounds like, if I set up my journalism workflow, and whenever a recording is finished or a clip is created, I can have these things transcoded to different file formats. I can export them to a particular destination outside of the SnapStream ecosystem. There's a variety of different actions that can be done by setting these in place to kind of mirror what it is that you want to happen. So that's a pretty solid overview. I'd be happy to answer any questions on a one-on-one manner because I know that everybody has varying use cases. One other thing that I do want to mention, and it might have already been kind of alluded to, but this can be used as a community resource. So many of you on here probably have sort of an agenda in mind of what caught your interest regarding SnapStream, and you have your own research and instructional purposes, but this can be used by others within the department. It's simply restricted to whoever has availability to your network. So if there's a variety of students or other departments, other colleagues, they can all be accessing the system, and there's no additional financial commitment from that standpoint. It's simply a matter of purchasing the hardware that feeds into the TV source that you have in your location. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, and she's got a few additional thoughts.
Thanks, Brian. So thank you so much to everybody for being on the call. We are going to kind of wrap things up here, but we're going to be sticking around. If you guys have any questions at all, we will be here to answer them.